Hey folks, how are you going today? We're doing something quite clearly different. This entire setup is obviously different. Now, if you follow me on my Patreon, you've seen a bit of behind the scenes. I'm in the middle of a room huffing varnish at the moment because I'm getting this office set up. I might include a picture here. Otherwise, go check me out on Patreon because if we jump over and have a look, I've got to remember how to even start doing this. So here we go over on Patreon. I do put some posts up with some behind the scenes sort of stuff occasionally as well, but you can follow for free and then you get to see what's going on, or you can give me some of your money if you feel so inclined. So anyway, we're in this half-baked setup and we're looking at the Radxa X4. Now this is new and different, which is why I asked Tom. I reached out to Tom at Radxa and I was like, hey, that's really cool. Can I have one? He said, go for it. And then it turned up. I had to buy a heatsink though because he forgot to send me one. That's all right though. So we're going to have a look at this today and see what it's capable of. What makes this particularly different is it's an Intel N100. So it's not a Celeron or an Atom. These new, when they start 11th gen, I think, they had the 4150, N100, N150. These N100s are actually really powerful. So it's a, what is it, a 4-core, 4-thread 64-bit processor, and this model in particular has, you can see all the codes on the bottom there, D8, so it's got 8, what's that work out to, 8 gig of RAM, 64 gig eMMC, R whatever that is, wireless 16, I'm not too sure, but, yeah, I don't know. W16 probably means wireless 1 comes with wireless 6. There's quite a few variants, but I've not really tested any x86 SBCs before, and so I thought this would be worth giving a go. Let's jump over and have a look at the specs. So if we go to their website here, this is the other really cool thing. It's got an RP2040. Now, from what I've read, these GPIOs are shared by the RP2040 and the main CPU, and there's a serial connection between them. So from the operating system that you're running on this, you can actually program the RP2040 and use it. So this is a kind of all-in-one development board that's also pretty overpowered. So 4 cores, 4 threads, up to 3.4 gigahertz. And what it doesn't show here is these also have a thermal TDP of 6 watts. They're an incredibly low powered processor. So there's all of the interfaces there. 2.5 gig with PoE support. You see the PoE headers there, RP2030. M2 M keyed, so you can stick whatever you want on there. Wi-Fi 5 or 6. A whole pile of HDMI and micro HDMI. Now this form factor, that really looks like a Pi 2 form factor, doesn't it? Might have to test that. Sorry, a Pi 4 form factor. Might have to test that in a tick. UHD graphics. Got a pile of RAM, onboard eMMC, dual display output up to 4K 60, 2.5 gig wireless AX or AC, some USB, some headphone jacks, some GPIOs, Windows support because it's x86, Debian, Linux, and everything else support as you would expect. So that's pretty bloody good. And if we have a look at the documentation, internet's a bit slow because I'm downloading a shitload of stuff in the background. The documentation's a little bit more generic than usual because it works just like a normal computer. They do give you some extra resources like the drivers, how to configure the BIOS, things that you just might want to generally set up. But I mean, it's pretty much just a normal computer except really friggin' tiny. Now, those HDMI and the USB, it even comes with an RTC battery actually, which is really good. And there's ports there which, go back to this documentation here. Just gonna see, what is that other bloody connector? Fan header. All right, so it's got a fan connector as well. Excellent. So I have somewhere in this room, I'm assuming it's gonna be just over here. Should have paused the camera. I'm just like milling about all this shit that I've been unpacking. I will pause the camera. I don't know where this is. Hang on. It was a millimeter away from me. I've got some of these in stock in my store. These are a basic, cheap, and quite terrible, really, Pi 4B case. But I just got my curiosity going here. If I can get everything into a nice, good spot. And yeah, I am ordering more x86 SBCs because they are a bit bespoke. You know, my interest in SBCs is really about bespoke SBCs. So highly embedded, RISC-V, things like that. And, oh, so close. And so x86 for me kind of fits in that category. What if we took this battery off? So yeah, I've got a few of these cases left to sell. If you don't know about my shop, I do run an e-commerce shop. So that's what I was just talking about. It is so close. You can see how it's basically the same form factor. It might just be because this is a crap case, but it's only this bottom bit that doesn't actually fit properly. So I'd say this is going to work with most Pi 4 cases, or a large amount of them, but this is going to chuck some heat out too. So that's why we went ahead and got the real case slash heatsink for it. And this works a little bit differently to others, but it's just a big thermal mass really. So you can see there, that's your matching pad, and it screws down with some screws. You got your fan header there, and it looks quite nice. Let's pause the camera for a minute, go ahead and stick that on, and then we're going to get into actually rating this thing, because don't forget, we've got the SBC tier list. That's over here on sbctierlist.com, and whenever we try out something new, we jump in and we have a look at it, and we give it a ranking. Now, this is going to be a new one. It's going to go in the SBCs category, which I haven't actually ranked anything on yet, and I've got a few criteria. So, hold up one tick. Let me just stick this heat. Oh, that's hefty too. Stick this heatsink on, and then we'll start trialing her out. You know what? I'm just stopping for a tick because this mob sent me this electric screwdriver. I've got a few different electric screwdrivers now, but this one is next level. It comes with all your different sets. Includes measuring tape, charging cable, magnetizer, lanyard. You've got a bucket load of light built into it as well. It's got a whole pile of different gears for different torque, as you can see there. And it looks very capable. I'll put a link to the product below. It's by HandBoost, so definitely check them out. It'll probably be an affiliate link if they have any listings that are of any use to me, but they just sent, wow, that's hefty. They just sent this to me because they see that I use a lot of tools, and hopefully I'll remember to send them a link to this video and be like, hey, I actually tried your shit out. So don't care about that rubbish. There's this little case. That is a sound and a half. You know, whilst we're at it, I forgot to say, I often forget to say, in fact, I'm sorry for not doing many videos recently. Moving house obviously has sucked. But I do just have to think PCBWay. So, you know how this goes. You know they support this channel. Deep Sleeper version 0.2 just shipped from them. So that's on the way now. They make great quality products, and they have deals and specials on all the time. They even put out like little articles, blog articles that you can sign up for, which gives you a really good introduction to PCB sort of stuff. So really basic, easy consumer information that'll make your life so much easier, right? But look, they are hugely capable. If you aren't into PCBs, they do have a module store. If you're into 3D printing, they also do CNC milling and 3D printing. They've got more materials than any other company that I've seen, and the more that you order, of course, the better your pricing is. But I've got a hot plate and a soldering iron coming from them. They've got all sorts of really cool stuff that you might be interested in. The main thing is they support this store, and I want you to support them. It helps everyone out. If you just click the link below, I'll try to remember to put a QR code on the screen for you as well, and create a free account. You get $5 off your first order using my link if you use my link. And then they know that my viewers, you lovely people up there, are actually, well, doing what I say. No, are interested in this. It helps immensely. So go do. Now, back to assembling this. What I meant was back to testing out the Jacamy Intelligent Electric Screwdriver. Case is pretty good. It's okay. It's got a cool little LCD screen there. I'm gonna. Okay, that's just going to be where it clips in. So let's stick this bit in. Apparently the magnet. Ah, it's got all the gears listed around the outside. That's good. Well, yeah, that magnet's pretty good. Okay, so there's the gears. So first gear, second gear. Oh, all right. Oh, that is, yeah, torquey. All right, let's go gear 3. Charge light as well. Is that going to be long press. Oh, that's the light at the front. Jeez, all right, that's handy. And there is that. That's probably just for charging status. All right, let's screw this together with this and see if it's any good. Yep, that does exactly what I need. I also like, this case is excellent, and it's got a bit of a bigger handle, so you can really get some torque on it if need be. All right, I'll finish this off now. All right, so this screwdriver ain't bad at all. Could just do with an extension bit. That's all it's really missing, but pardon my hiccups. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to keep using it. Now this is assembled. I have noticed some pretty cool things. So this is, of course, the Radxa X4, and I need that thumbnail shot, which is going to be about... Oh yeah, that looks pretty good. Can I... Somewhere there. Maybe I'll cut this out, maybe I won't. But this case is interesting. So I assume it goes like that. So it's kind of upside down because the fan's on top, but that's all right. And then you've got these. So those, as you can see, the holes are flattened along one edge. So you can actually have the external Wi-Fi antennas sticking up from there. And I do have some of those in stock as well. You see what I mean? I'll grab one. So if you buy some, you get this little kit in there. You get these, and of course, they would go through from the inside. And where's the flat spot? That way around. Oh, it's really hard to do this after the fact, like that. And then you screw them in, and that connects to the main board. So the fact that this case has those antenna slots is really good if you want to use this as a media center or something of that sort. Now though, the important stuff, while I make a pile of noise packing this away, is we see how it actually performs, what it's capable of. So don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy this sort of stuff, especially if you enjoy my stupid pace where I don't really get much done. I'm going to have to grab some micro, I think, or mini HDMI header adapters and a power plug. And I'll grab my Windows 11 installer. We'll plug it in, see what happens. Alrighty folks, after a huge amount of screwing around, I've learned a few little things. So first of all, the capture card that I normally use doesn't work with the latest Linux kernel. And in fact, I've had no end of issues with the latest Ubuntu 24. So I'm actually going to go back to Linux Mint Mate 22 because it's just 100 times more stable. And I'm honestly sick of Ubuntu. It's a crap operating system these days, full of bloatware and stupid snap packages. Now also, you need 12 volts USB PD. So 5 volts won't work. So what we've got now is we've got our mini or micro, whatever HDMI in it is. We'll go over to our HDMI capture card, which at this point is only 1080 because I'm using my USB-C adapter, not my actual capture card. It's just a little dongle, and we'll plug this in. So see if we can get that little camera going down the bottom. There we go. So you can see there's a little red light down there, and it chucks us straight into the BIOS. Now, what we'll do is we'll grab this USB drive. We'll put that in there. I'll grab my mouse, keyboard, and receiver. Still haven't grabbed another wireless mouse yet. We'll plug that in there. And then next to the light over here is a little power button. So we'll turn it off and turn it back on. See what she does, if it does what we're all hoping. Which it is. We've got a nice boot splash, and then we've got the Windows 11 installer logo. So what I'm going to quickly do now is install Windows 11 and download Geekbench and Chrome, and you know, we'll even just use Edge because it comes with it, saves a bit of time, and we'll see how this thing performs. I'm very curious. After that, we'll install Linux Mint Mate on it, and pardon me, test it as well. Hold tight. Alright, so we're back and this is all sorted out. I grabbed a second keyboard and mouse from it. So if we go over to our HDMI input and we turn this on now, we can see how fast it boots, and then we're going to see what it's like, and I'll show you how to get to the built-in RP2040 as well. So the fan is a little bit loud. It's not the most optimized fan. You can probably unplug the fan and deal with just this passive cooling, but it will get hot and it might thermally throttle itself. There we go. That was pretty quick. That was less than 30 seconds, I reckon. So log in with the right password. And we can see here, it's all pretty straightforward with the graphics drivers installed now. It's, where are we? Device Manager. It's 1920 by 1080. And if we go in and have a look at the performance, still booting up, so a few things loading, but it's sitting at 2.9 gigahertz. It's got 8 gig of RAM. It's not really doing too much, which is nice. So now what we'll see, if we say I'll just enable this view as well. Over here is the RP2040 boot cell switch. So if I hit that, there we go. We suddenly have the bootloader visible here. So we can drop our Raspberry Pi Pico code or similar onto there. Now, I wasn't too sure if it would actually work, but I have installed the Arduino IDE, if I can actually double click something correctly. And we'll just see if that appears. I did see there was a serial port before. I think that's the integrated serial port in here. I'm not sure if the Arduino connection will actually be exposed or if you just need to build the binary and drop it on. No, so it doesn't actually show up here. What you'd probably need to do is grab the Arduino Pi Pico and not actually use the port. I'm not too familiar with how to, but you just build the binary and drop it on as you normally do. Now, what we're going to do is Geekbench this. Actually, we'll see how it performs. Like, you know, this will do 4K output. I don't have it set to 4K at the moment, but if we go youtube.com/Platima Tinkers, it's nice and responsive. It feels like I'm using a normal Windows computer. I wouldn't want to run Outlook on it or anything like that. Web browsing, I think it's going to be absolutely perfect for basic office work as a very simple development machine. It doesn't feel laggy or problematic at all, like you can see compared to some of the others we've tried. That is instantly responsive, which is fantastic, especially for something that is a 6-watt CPU. So right now, looking over at my power supply, it's drawing 0.7 amps, and that's whilst it's playing this video. Just touches 0.8, 0.9 sometimes. So it's not even drawing 12 watts at this point. It's drawing, so down to 0.6 amps. So it's probably drawing, what's that going to be, 7 to 11 watts, which is nothing. And we can see here, it full screens without an issue. It is playing back, I believe, what's that, auto 720, let's go. Let's actually force it to render all the pixels of the 4K display. It's doing that perfectly fine and not having an issue. It's still only drawing 0.6 amps. So that is actually stuff all, 0.7 amps now, up to 0.9. So if we bust out 12 times 0.9, 10 watts, down to 7.2 watts. So 7 to 10 watts is not bad. The CPU is not doing very much right now, and the GPU is not as... No, I don't want offline mode or any of that crap later. You know what? I've never even run this on... Wow. I've never run this on Windows before. This is the first. So now what I'm going to do is... I'm not going to bother with Mint like we were talking about. I will install Mint on here. I've got it ready to go on this flash drive, and I'll run Geekbench on there as well, so we can actually compare all the results, or even just the results on the same hardware between Linux and Windows. But I'm going to let Geekbench run now. We can see that this works quite well. And look, let's just do a basic discussion. So we've got to rate this. It's got to be SBC tier list. So where can you get it from? You can get it from any of the Radxa resellers. So it's going to be Erase, AllNet China, and I think there might be an AliExpress store. Now, that is all going to be Chinese, and I don't stock this. So if you're in the US, you're going to be paying those import fees, and I'm very sorry. Hit up Radxa, email them, tell them to get non-Chinese and Hong Kong stockists. I will stock it. I'm too small for them though. So, you know, got to do what you can. Price and availability. Let's actually just go have a look at the price. We'll use the over back on here. So if we go buy, yeah, we'll go Erase. Let's have a look at what the price of this thing's like. And I'm going to grab my notepad so I can make notes. Alrighty, so they've only got the wrong keyboard and mouse. What have I got here? I've got this model, so 8 gig of RAM, 64 gig eMMC, Wi-Fi 6. $90 US isn't bad, especially for an N100 with an RP2040. So I just bought another one recently. That was about 300 grand. It includes a Windows license, but I'd say $100 is actually pretty bloody good for what you're getting. But we are very limited by these Chinese or Hong Kong, because Erase is in Hong Kong, by those resellers. So price and availability, I'm going to give it, if it's just me in Australia, say 4 out of 5. I've got to give it 3 out of 5 because whilst the availability is multiple places, there's not much stock holding going on, especially not the more cost-effective models that, you know, people just getting into it might want to use, or if you're going to supply your own eMMC. So that gets a 3 out of 5. Sorry, Tommy. Moving on. Don't forget to like and subscribe, by the way, if you like seeing this sort of stuff and everything that I'm doing. Like and subscribe. Now, moving on to the features and specs. So the form factor is really good. The case is quite excellent. The basic specs, so CPU, RAM, eMMC, GPU, Wi-Fi, Ethernet, GPIOs, they're all excellent. So you've got 2.5 gig Ethernet. It's got an M.2 interface, M-keyed, and it's got PoE support. So these are all excellent things. What is noticeable here is an obvious lacking of MIPI DSI and CSI. So not supporting a camera is a little bit of a challenge. SBCs normally support one of the two. However, it's an x86 SBC and it's got USB ports. So I would normally give this 5 out of 5 if it had those. If it had like a DSI 4 lane and a CSI 4 lane, or even a CSI 2 lane. Gonna have to knock it down a little bit though. So that's gonna be a 4 out of 5 for the features and specs. Where it did win is 4K support, PoE support, having the RTC battery that comes with it, and having an M-keyed M2 slot. Those are all excellent. Now, moving on, the documentation support. The documentation is good, but there's not much of it. The reason for that is because it's the same as a normal desktop computer that everyone should know how to use. So I think that's perfectly fine. All the drivers are provided. I didn't find any issues. Everything worked exactly as described. So documentation and support, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5 because there could be more examples of how to use the GPIOs and the Arduino. That's very limited at the moment. Don't even have it open. So docs, 4 out of 5. Software images and firmware. Now this is x86. So I was going to run absolutely anything. That means that I kind of have to give it a 5 out of 5. You can run anything on it. It's the most common ISA there is, essentially. So software, 5 out of 5. That makes up for the 3 out of 5 for the price and availability. So they're averaging a, if we go to the SBC tier list here. So on the SBC tier list, so far it's averaging an A. We do have to have a look at the performance and reliability. So general use, file copy, everything like that. Let's go back to it, and I want this one. Actually, it's still running that benchmark, and then we'll do the file copy. I'd say the disk speed is probably going to be pretty good, but we'll want to download a tool for that. So let's quickly grab Crystal Disk Mark, the Weeby software, on Disk Mark, and we'll bench that briefly. And what else we're going to rate it on there? I mean, the 3D GPU, it's not a powerful GPU, but it's going to be as good as it gets for something embedded. It's the Intel UHD. So, no thanks. I'll continue without your spammy crap. Hope my audio is recording. Right, that's a good question. How much graphics memory does it give the GPU? It would be shared, of course. Yeah, shared. Okay, so 4 gig dedicated and 4 shared? No, only shared. So it's 4 gig shared out of what's going to be 12 gig on board, I'm guessing. No, it's fully shared. All right, cool. And the way it describes it is 2 out of 4 slots used. Very interesting. That must be the way it's hooked up to the CPU. And that is, yeah, not bad at all. All right, Crystal Disk Mark. Did that start downloading? No. God, I hate the internet these days. This is just the most stupid shit. Why do websites look like this? Softonic needs to go in the bin. So we're going to test the disk speed, and other than that, the Wi-Fi strength is actually quite good. So my Wi-Fi here is, for lack of a better term, piss poor, and this has just got those 2 little thingos hanging off it. Yeah, I was getting a solid 500 megabit. So I'm going through like 5 walls to my Wi-Fi, and it's not set up properly. The access points in the cupboard, and yeah, I'm getting 500 by 300. So the Radxa A8 module that's built in, which is Wi-Fi 6, I've got those in stock too. Works perfectly fine, and even with these where are we? With these little Wi-Fi antennas, that is quite excellent. You don't need anything big or external. There you go, we'll launch Crystal Disk Mark. And I mean, we are slightly impeding the CPU benchmark, but really not in any way that's worth writing home about. Oh my God, it's the weebiest shit, isn't it? It makes me so sad. Again, what is wrong with the internet? Can we not have that? All right, whatever. I'm sorry for anyone that cares about anything. This software looks so shit. That's nearly running. Now, we'll skip on then. So the last thing we'll rate it on is accessories and compatibility. So it uses USB-C power, which is quite excellent. It's also got the power pins. In case you didn't see them, there is two little header pins there that you can use for power instead. It supports PoE. It's going to be USB cameras only. It's got M2 for storage or the eMMC on board. Display is just through HDMI. It is the mini or micro HDMI, whichever one you call it though, which is a little bit sad. But it does make it Model 4B compatible. It supports the standard Pi 2 header, and the case isn't too bad. So the fact that it doesn't have MIPI, DSI or CSI, it's going to lose a little bit for that. Not having full-size HDMI is a little bit sad too. So that is going to be a 4 out of 5. So that is for accessories and compatibility. You know what though? It's got the RP2040 built in, and that's kind of a built-in accessory. And that gives you a lot more options of what it's compatible with. Again, no MIPI connections, but I'm going to bump that up to a 5 out of 5 for that. Very much liking it. All right, so here we have some scoring. I'm gonna have to log in and claim that, but that's a pretty bloody good score for CPU. So we'll benchmark GPU in a tick, but let's have a look at, I don't even know how to use this, so I'm just gonna go all. Let's see what it comes up with. See what sort of throughput it can do. Preparing. Come on. That's pretty good read speed. It's not through the roof, of course. It's, you know, it's going to be what you expect for good eMMC. So if we say 319 times 8 gives us 2.5 gigabits. So if you've got 2.5 gigabit Ethernet, for example, which this has, you're not going to be throttled by the I/O or the eMMC. So I'm very happy with that. Let's stop this. Can we do just a write test? Let's just go write, test that one. It's just preparing to create a test file. I expect write will be a little bit slower because that's how that normally works anyway. Probably 200-ish. Let's see what it says. It's doing exact 100-ish. All right, so write's a little bit low. We'll give it a tick. 106. 107. All right. So the write's a little lackluster, but the read's good. That means if you're going to be hosting something in your network on this, so if you're going to be using this, say, with a decent sized NVMe drive, and you're going to be hosting media for your network, or you're going to be hosting any Docker servers or anything like that, you're going to be dealing with in-memory data and reading data. So you're not going to be limited there. And honestly, 100 megasecond is still pretty good. That's gigabit speeds for the write. So as far as performance goes, 4 cores, 64-bit, peaks at 3.4 gigahertz. It got good single and multi-CPU performance. I'm happy with that. So I'm actually going to say for performance and reliability, I'm going to give that a 5 out of 5. So that gives us all up, since we're rating it out of, what, 6 different things? Is that how I designed this? It was. So we have 3, 4, 7, 11, 26 divided by 6, which gives us, whoop, I can't count, 26 divided by 6, 4.33. That's so very close to being S tier. I'm going to have to give this S tier for a couple of reasons, all right? I'm going to have to give it S tier because it just works very easily and nicely. It comes with the RTC battery. Any image works on it. It's got enough support. Does 4K displays. Supports dual display. It's one of the first N100 SBCs I've ever seen. Orange Pi are doing one now, and there's Up and a few others that are kind of getting out there. It's the first N100 I've seen. An N100 is a big leap from the 4150s and whatnot, and it's got the RP2040 built in. So if you're a Pi Pico developer, if you're wanting to learn Arduino, embedded systems, anything like that, or you want a small media center, or you want a Docker host, this is going to do a lot of things really well. Especially for 90 bucks. So good work, Tom and the Radxa team. You've done extremely well. Your case is a little bit weird. I'd like it if you had an RP2350, but I understand these things are not quick to design or get manufactured. And it would be cool if it had MIPI, CSI, or DSI, but I can't complain. This is quite an excellent product, and impressively so. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I might use it. I'm probably actually going to use this for printing my labels for shipping. It is probably going to be excellent for that. So if I'm just going to go back to this HDMI input, still doing that. Once it's done the GPU benchmark, I'm going to put it to sleep, just like it does, you know, how it goes to standby when you're not using it, and I'll see how much power it consumes. Because if this thing draws, you know, less than a watt on standby, then it's going to be perfect just to sit there to print my labels out, whether it's going to be international or local labels, so they're sticker printer or printer. And thank you very kindly for sending it through. So also, thanks to PCBWay. Don't forget to check them out. I'll see if it'll let me. Oh, that was quick, PCBWay.com. Use the link below. Don't just type it in like I just did, because you're going to get $5 off your first order, and it shows support for me if you do that. And look, they're going to be at the AMPA EE exhibit as well. So if you happen to go over there, check them out, support them. They're a great bunch of people. Thank you to all of you for coming by and supporting this. And if you want to support me a bit more, don't forget that I do have this Patreon. So you can join for free, of course, or you can start paying. When you pay, you get to join the chat, and you also get to see behind the scenes stuff. So there's more posts than this. I don't know why it only shows some here, but yeah, so I throw out behind the scenes stuff like designing this new workshop room that I'm in now, and discussing what sort of products are going to be coming up. So thank you to all of my patrons. I'll put your name up on the screen here. I'm going to write a note to remind myself to do that, because I forgot last time. Thank you everyone for your patience with how little videos I'm pumping out. Thank you to Radxa for sending this through and making some absolutely awesome products. I'm going to let this finish off now, and that's over on bloody hell that interface, and I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy. Just thought I'd quickly show you. This is sleeping and drawing less than 0.1 amps, so sleeping very well, and it's about 3 seconds to boot up. Check this out. If I turn that on here and we go 1, 2, 3, there's your desktop. So this is definitely going to be very handy to have. I'll use it for printing all my shop orders, or the picking and labels for it. Feels like a little bit of a waste because it's such a good, awesome little device, but I'll obviously end up listening to music on it, watching YouTube videos, all that sort of stuff. It will be an everyday machine, and it's less than 100 US. So go check out the shop. That's what I'll be using it for. Every order gets a free engineer's ruler thrown in, and if you order LuckFox stuff, you get a LuckFox specific limited edition one. Cheers guys, take it easy.